Now, Pandora, I thought it was interesting to see Princess Beatrice join the family at Sandringham last minute. Is there anything more to this story than has been reported?
Yeah, so we don't know the details of why she got the medical sign off. I'm sure we can put two and two together about the fact that she is evidently a few months pregnant and on medical advice has been told not to travel. But of course, this does make things slightly awkward. It was all very happy faces, put on a good show for the Christmas Day walk up. But from a personal perspective, I'm sure she found this quite difficult in many senses because she knows her father and mother weren't going to be there. And then, of course, that's so different from different years and how things have changed. And of course, her sister's not with with her there either, because she is with her in-laws, which was her original plan. She was there alongside her husband and, of course, his little son. And they made the most of what is an incredibly difficult situation with relations with Prince Andrew and the King at the moment. Of course, he took advice off Fergie not to go, which we've already mentioned on previous programmes. But I'm sure for her, it wasn't the day that she expected it to be. And when plans change, it's never ideal, is it? But of course, when all the world spotlight is on you asking questions, it's particularly difficult, especially when it's your own family, it's your own father. And I'm sure she had to spend the day with various conversations and questions from the rest of the family about him whilst he wasn't there, of course, to defend himself too. And this is all while she is heavily pregnant. So my heart does go out for her because it is an incredibly difficult situation for her. And she just has to get on with it, very much like the late Queen's motto of never complain and never explain. And that's exactly what she did. The late Queen would have been very proud of her, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think she would have been. And Angela, very interesting piece in Tatler this week about the York sisters and their supporting role in 2024. It's been a very interesting year for them, and they've managed this excellent balance, in my view, of being in the thick of it while being slightly removed at the same time.
I agree completely with you, Caroline. To have two parents who are so historically undiplomatic, and that is a compliment. You could say far worse things about them. Although Fergie has, of course, come into her own in the last couple of years as being a highly useful member of the royal family, or certainly adjacent to the royal family. What I love about this Tatler piece is that it pulls out some of the things that Beatrice and Eugenie have done. Apart from their extraordinary diplomacy, if you think about it, Eugenie is trying to maintain that relationship with her cousin Harry while still being a member of the royal family. They both do a lot of charity work. They helped out, of course, at the garden parties in May, where you need more royals to go around shaking hands. I anticipate that we will see a lot more of them, as well as the Tyndalls. I think after this year, Prince William particularly will be looking at the royal family and saying, yes, my dad is wanting a slimmed down organisation, but what we do need is more people on the ground to be doing the handshaking, to do the events. And I think there'll be some taking stock behind the scenes with Catherine and William, particularly while their children are still so young, where they say, yes, I think we do need Beatrice and Eugenie to do this, and we do need Zara and Mike to do this. But there's one person who I think needs a Vogue cover and is not getting the attention she deserves, and that's the Duchess of Edinburgh. She turns 60 next month. She has been part of that family dedicatedly. I think she did 124 engagements this year, and she is not getting the love. I want to see her promoted. I want to see her on the cover of magazines, and I want her to be at the forefront of the royal family. After all, she is a working member of the family.
Well, you're not going to get any objection to that on this show because she has played an absolute blinder this year. I absolutely agree. And Angela, while I'm still with you, you'll recall the infamous New York car chase. It's back in the papers this week. Why is that?
Look, it's really interesting because Harry has basically made a claim with the New York police. So we've seen two letters come out. One letter has back in September 2022 said that there was no need for prosecution, or there was no evidence of anything criminal in that car chase in New York. A few months later, in December, the head of intelligence within the New York City Police Force just found that yes, there was grounds for prosecution of a couple of people. Now, of course, all that time has now passed, and Harry is saying, why has there not been any action on this? This is really interesting. The messaging is coming from their security company, but he will not let this one go. We all laughed about it at the time because it seemed, it didn't, you know, he was using words like catastrophic, and it didn't seem like that. There was, people were refuting that people can actually drive that fast in crowded New York City. There was claims that people were driving super fast. But look, I would like to get to the bottom of this. It's not clear. It's a slightly opaque story. And if there are, I mean, after all this time, if there really are people that should be prosecuted, then that should happen. This is one of those rare occasions where I understand why Harry is pushing it through.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what does come out of that, because I agree with you. I think there is more. Now, Pandora, I feel like the Christmas period always lends itself to some very interesting opinion pieces. Piece in the Telegraph about who makes the decisions in the Sussex household. What's your view?
Yeah, look, ladies, I'm going to be really brutally honest here. I think this commentary piece is reaching, but that's the whole point of commentary pieces. This is by Michael. In the same piece, he says that most wives in the household were in charge of writing the Christmas letters and the Christmas cards. I mean, for goodness sake, we're in 2024. But I would say that perhaps this is leading to other events which have happened over the past few years, where we've seen Harry and Meghan's relationship develop. The end of the story is, if Harry wasn't with Meghan, then he wouldn't have, left the other side of the world, would he? I mean, that is it. But that's what you do for love,
that's what
right?
It comes down to.
Yeah, that's exactly what it comes down to. And ultimately, signing off happy holidays instead of happy Christmas does not show a power dynamic. I think that's just a reflection of where they are in their life. The sentiment is very much still the same. Of course, if he was in the royal family, maybe he would have signed it off slightly differently. But Prince Harry, as we all know, ladies, if he doesn't like something, he will be very vocal about it. So I'm sure this card was very off from them both.
Now, ladies, very, very quickly, I have 30 seconds each for you. What are your predictions for 2025? Angela, starting with you.
My predictions for 2025 is, it's more a wish, Caroline. I hope that the King is declared cancer-free. That would be my number one for the royal family. They've had a really tough year, and in the same way that we felt that relief when Catherine did that video, to have a man who has waited in the wings all his life to do this job, within seconds virtually of arriving in the role, he finds himself battling cancer, not being able to do elements of the job, and he's pressed on in such a remarkable manner. That's the one thing I would like to see predictions. My other big prediction is that Prince Andrew is going to get a letter from the palace saying, you don't have to do any more work, just sit back, we're going to pay you to be quiet, to not go out of the house, to not meet with anybody. And I'm also predicting that we're going to see a little bit more of Prince George as he turns 12 this year and comes towards his teenage years, and of course that age when he will be very cognizant of the role ahead of him.
Absolutely. Pandora, your prediction?
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of Catherine, which I think will be very, very welcome, and everyone will absolutely love seeing more of her. And I think we'll probably hear a little bit more about her journey and what she's had going on with her health when she is ready to hear so. And I think it will be very much welcomed and will bring great support for many people around the world. I'm very much with Angela. I do hope that the King, continuous treatment is positive, and that he is cancer-free by the end of the year. And I hope, for the sake of the royal family, that they don't get any more Netflix dramas about them, because I think a year without Netflix dramas would be a year that they'd be very happy about. It's been a very dramatic few years for the royal family, so I hope this year can bring them some peace.
Absolutely. Angela, Pandora, thank you so much for joining us.